The wedding dress was worth more than most people in the room earned in a year. It hung beneath a soft spotlight in the Hayes mansion, covered in delicate lace and tiny pearls. Claire Bennett had dreamed about that dress since she was a little girl. Her late mother had helped choose the design, and in just 3 days, Claire was supposed to walk down the aisle wearing it. But that evening, Claire saw someone standing outside the bridal room who wasn't looking at the dress with excitement. She was looking at it with tears in her eyes. It was Elena Martinez, the quiet housekeeper. Claire stepped closer. "Elena, are you all right?" Elena quickly wiped her face. "Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been standing here." She turned to leave. But Claire noticed the way Elena looked back at the dress one more time. There was something behind that look. Something deeper than admiration. Claire gently asked, "Have you ever worn a wedding dress?" Elena smiled sadly. "No." Then she walked away before Claire could ask another question. Claire stood there, wondering why those 2 words had sounded so painful. She didn't know that the answer would change her wedding forever. Elena had worked at the Hayes mansion for almost a year. She never complained. She arrived before everyone else and often left after the last light in the kitchen was turned off. She was 34, a single mother, and the proud mother of a 7-year-old boy named Mateo. Mateo was her whole world. She could live without expensive clothes. She could live without vacations. But she couldn't accept the idea of her son growing up believing that he was less important than wealthy children. That was why Elena worked so hard. And Claire had slowly begun to notice. Unlike most wealthy people Elena had worked for, Claire always said thank you. She learned Elena's name. She asked about Mateo. Sometimes she even sat in the kitchen while Elena prepared tea. At first, Elena didn't know how to respond. People like Claire were supposed to give orders. They weren't supposed to ask a housekeeper about her dreams. But Claire kept doing it. And little by little, Elena stopped feeling like staff around her. She started feeling like a person. One afternoon, 8-year-old Sophie came running into the kitchen. "Elena." Elena turned around with a smile. Sophie rushed into her arms. "Mommy, Claire said I can help you." Elena laughed. "You're going to help me?" Sophie nodded proudly. "I can fold napkins." "You're hired." Sophie giggled. Claire watched from the doorway. She loved seeing her daughter so happy. Then Sophie suddenly asked a question that made the room quiet. "Why doesn't Mateo have nice clothes like me?" Elena stopped folding the napkins. Claire immediately looked at her. Elena forced a smile. "Mateo has everything he needs." Sophie frowned. "But not everything he wants." Elena smiled gently. "No child gets everything they want." Claire said nothing, but she remembered those words. A few days later, Elena received a phone call. She stepped into the hallway and answered quietly. Claire happened to be nearby. She wasn't trying to listen, but Elena's voice was impossible to ignore. "Yes, I'll find a way." A pause. "No, don't cancel it." Another pause. "I'll be there." Elena ended the call. She stood against the wall and closed her eyes. Claire approached carefully. "Is everything okay?" Elena nodded. "It's Mateo." "What happened?" "His school is having a special family event." Claire smiled. "That sounds nice." "It is." Elena looked down. "He asked me if I would come." Claire waited. Elena finally whispered, "I don't have anything nice enough to wear." Claire's heart sank. "You don't need an expensive dress to go to your son's school." "I know." Elena gave a small smile. "But children notice everything." She walked away. Claire remained in the hallway. For the first time, she understood why Elena had looked at her wedding dress that way. That evening, Claire found Elena in the laundry room. On a small table beside her was an old photograph. Claire recognized Elena immediately, but the woman in the photograph looked completely different. She was younger. She was wearing a simple white dress, and she was smiling. Claire gently asked, "Is that you?" Elena nodded. "My old life." "What happened to the dress?" Elena was silent for a moment. Then she answered, "I sold it." Claire's eyes softened. "Why?" Elena touched the photograph. "Mateo was sick when he was little." Claire stopped breathing for a moment. "I needed the money." She looked at the photograph again. That dress paid for his treatment. Claire couldn't find the right words. Elena smiled. "It was only a dress." Claire shook her head. "No." Elena looked at her. Claire whispered, "It was your dream." Elena looked away. "My son mattered more." Then Elena picked up the photograph and returned to work. Claire watched her go. That night, Claire walked slowly into her bridal room. Her wedding dress was still hanging beneath the soft light. She touched the lace. She remembered her mother. She remembered the little girl she had once been. And then she remembered Elena standing outside that room, trying not to cry. Claire made a decision Adrian would never expect. And the next time the guests saw that wedding dress, it would no longer belong to Claire. The next evening, the Hayes mansion was glowing with warm golden lights. Guests had arrived from across the city for the intimate celebration before Claire and Adrian's wedding. Everyone was talking about the same thing: Claire's wedding dress. It had been designed by one of the finest designers in New York, but only a few people knew the real reason it was so precious to Claire. Her mother had helped choose the original design before she passed away. To Claire, the dress wasn't simply something she would wear. It was a piece of her mother that she could carry into her new life. The dress stood in the center of the bridal room. For a moment, Claire stood alone beside it. She gently touched the sleeve. Then she closed her eyes. She remembered her mother's voice. Never measure a beautiful life by what you own. Claire opened her eyes. She knew what she had to do. A few minutes later, the ballroom doors opened. Claire walked inside, but she wasn't wearing the dress. She was carrying it. The conversations slowly stopped. Guests turned toward her. Adrian looked confused. He knew how important that dress was. Claire walked past the wealthy guests, past the flowers, past the champagne table, and stopped in front of Elena. Elena looked behind herself, thinking Claire must be looking for someone else. Claire smiled. Yes, you. Elena's eyes moved toward the dress. Her face immediately changed. What's wrong? Claire held out the dress. I want you to have it. Elena stared at her. The room became completely silent. For several seconds, she couldn't even breathe. Then she shook her head. No. Claire stepped closer. Elena. No, Claire. Elena's voice trembled. I can't take this. Claire gently asked. Why? Because it's yours. Claire nodded. It was. Elena looked confused. Claire placed the dress into her hands. Now I want it to be yours. Elena immediately tried to give it back. This is your wedding dress. Claire smiled through tears. And I'm still getting married. But your mother? Claire's eyes filled with emotion. Yes. She touched the lace. My mother chose this dress with me. Then she looked at Elena. And she taught me that the most beautiful things in life are the things we use to make someone else's life better. Elena's lips began to tremble. I don't deserve this. Claire shook her head. Don't say that. She took Elena's hand. You don't need to earn kindness. That sentence broke something inside Elena. She began crying. Claire wrapped her arms around her, and Elena finally hugged her back. The guests watched in silence. Some lowered their heads. Others wiped tears from their eyes. Nobody was thinking about the price of the dress anymore. They were thinking about the woman giving it away. Adrian stood several feet away. He couldn't stop looking at Claire. He knew how much the dress meant to her. He walked toward her slowly. Claire. She turned. You really gave it to her? Claire smiled. Yes. Adrian looked at the dress, then at Elena, then back at Claire. Why? Claire took a breath. Because I saw something I couldn't ignore. She told him about Elena's conversation. She told him about Mateo's school event. She told him about the old photograph. And finally, she told him why Elena had sold her only beautiful dress years earlier. She sold it to pay for Mateo's treatment. Adrian became quiet. He looked at Elena, the woman who had quietly cleaned his house for almost a year. The woman who never asked for anything. The woman who always seemed embarrassed whenever someone offered her help. Now he understood. She wasn't proud because she had money. She was proud because she had survived. Adrian walked over to Elena. Elena. She looked up. He smiled gently. I owe you an apology. Elena looked surprised. For what? For never asking enough about the person taking care of my family. Elena shook her head. You don't owe me anything. Adrian smiled. That's exactly what Claire said. Elena laughed softly. For the first time that evening, the tension disappeared. Then a little voice came from behind them. Mommy. Everyone turned. Sophie stood there. She was staring at Elena. Her eyes grew wide. Elena. Elena looked down. Yes. You look like a princess. The room burst into soft laughter. Even Elena laughed through her tears. Then Mateo entered. He had been waiting outside. When he saw his mother in the dress, he stopped. His eyes widened. He slowly walked toward her. Mom. Elena knelt down. What is it? Mateo smiled. You look beautiful. Elena's eyes filled with tears again. She hugged him. I wore it for you. Mateo whispered. I think you look beautiful because you're my mom. Claire turned away. She couldn't stop the tears. Adrian gently placed his hand on her shoulder. Neither of them spoke. They didn't need to. The following morning, Elena stood outside Mateo's school. She almost didn't go inside. She kept looking down at the dress. She was afraid people would stare. Afraid someone would ask where she got it. Afraid they would think she was pretending to be someone she wasn't. Then she heard footsteps. Mommy. Mateo came running toward her. He hugged her tightly. Then he stepped back. You came. Elena smiled. I promised. Mateo looked at the dress. You look like a princess. Elena laughed. No, sweetheart. She touched his cheek. I just look like your mom. Mateo smiled. To me, that's better. Elena couldn't hold back her tears. She hugged him again. And for the first time in years, she wasn't worried about what anyone thought. She was simply proud to be there. That evening, Elena returned to the mansion carrying a tiny package. Claire opened the door. What is that? Elena smiled. Something for you. Claire opened it. Inside was a simple white handkerchief. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't covered in diamonds. But delicate words had been embroidered across the corner. Claire read them slowly. For the woman who reminded me that kindness has no social class. Claire covered her mouth. Elena, I made it myself. Claire looked at her. You didn't have to. I know. Elena smiled. But I wanted to. Claire pulled her into a hug. This time, Claire cried first. 3 days later, Claire walked down the aisle. She wore a beautiful wedding dress. But it wasn't the dress Elena had received. Claire had chosen another dress. And somehow, that made the moment even more meaningful. Because the dress she gave away had already become part of another beautiful memory. After the ceremony, Claire stood beside Adrian at the reception. She asked Elena to join her. The guests applauded. Claire took Elena's hand. I want everyone to know why she is standing here. Elena looked nervous. Claire smiled. She taught me something I will never forget. The room became quiet. Claire explained how Elena had sacrificed her own dress years ago to help her son. Then she told everyone why she gave Elena her own wedding dress. I thought I was giving her a dress. Claire looked at Elena. But she gave me something much more valuable. The guests listened carefully. She reminded me that kindness should never end with one person. Then Claire announced the creation of a scholarship fund for children of hardworking service workers. Mateo would receive the first scholarship. Elena covered her face. She was crying again. Claire walked toward her. This isn't charity, she whispered. It's a chance. Elena nodded through her tears. 1 year later, something beautiful happened. Claire and Elena stood together outside a newly opened community center. Children were running across the yard. Sophie and Mateo stood beside each other holding the ribbon. Adrian held the scissors. Claire looked at Elena. Ready? Elena smiled. Ready. Sophie and Mateo cut the ribbon together. Everyone applauded. Claire turned toward Elena. Do you remember the dress? Elena smiled. How could I forget? Claire laughed softly. Neither will I. Elena looked toward the children. That dress changed more than one life. Claire nodded. Because it had never really been about lace. It had never been about money. It had never even been about a wedding. It was about one woman seeing another woman clearly. It was about dignity. It was about compassion. And it was about reminding someone who had spent years giving everything to her child that she deserved something beautiful too. Sometimes, kindness doesn't arrive with a check. Sometimes it arrives wrapped in lace. Sometimes it looks like a wedding dress. And sometimes, the smallest act of love becomes the beginning of something much bigger. Claire gave Elena a dress. Elena gave Claire a lesson. And together, they gave dozens of children something even more precious. A chance. Because the greatest gift we can give another person isn't always something they can hold. Sometimes it's the feeling that, for one beautiful moment. They matter just as much as everyone else.